You can trouble me for a warm glass of shut the hell up. Now you will go to sleep, or I will put you to sleep. Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Welcome back to the Fairweather Friends podcast. As always, I'm Vague. To my left, Ricky Reyes.
Hello.
And our friend today, Jared Johnson.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Going pretty good.
Is this three-peat for Jared?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yep. It's exciting.
Jared, third appearance. Only one who matches is Kinda Hooper, who was in 2 podcasts and then 1 live stream.
Yeah.
So that's 3 appearances for Fairweather Friends-ish.
Shout out to Hoop. We miss you.
Always working. But I was going to say with you, ever since the first podcast, you've pretty much gotten the bug to start your own podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of got me thinking that I wanted to do that. I listen to the radio like 12 hours a day anyways. So it's kind of like, maybe it's not that much, but I listen to a lot of radio, so mostly sports radio, but it still made me like think that I could do something differently, I guess. Do something podcasting wise.
Yeah, I mean, that's with podcasting is you can take your time, you can edit stuff in, you can do an intro. Like, you don't need a studio you don't have to have a producer sitting on the side queuing clips in your intro for you. Yeah. Which is good.
It doesn't hurt to have one, though.
It would be nice. It would be nice to have a button that they can... that's one of my favorite things about the Jalen Jacoby show is the dude he literally uses like 3 sound clips and it's like, nope, yep, and the Kawhi laughing sound clips. But it's his way of agreeing or disagreeing with what they say without actually getting on mic.
Yeah.
I was going to say, though, you have gone about it exactly the opposite of me and Ricky.
Yeah.
So with me and Ricky had been saying for years, every time we talk about sports pretty much, we're like, we should have a podcast. We should do a podcast.
Sure.
And then 4 months ago, he said it, and it's like a week or so before the NBA season starting. So I was hyped up for that. Really wasn't happy in general. It's kind of like nothing going on in my life. I just moved back in. My mom didn't have a full-time job. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. Within 20 minutes, I bought a podcast studio on Amazon.
Nice.
No research. Turned out to be a single-person podcast studio. So it was a mixer that had spot for 1 microphone. It came with a microphone stand. And then I Googled recording, found Audacity for free. And then within a week, we recorded our first 2 episodes, NBA by Amateurs, same day.
Yeah.
That was 3 hours of recording, Ricky. That one podcast was 2 hours by itself.
It was a little bit nerve-wracking at first, too.
It was super nerve-wracking.
It still is.
Anyone who says that you shouldn't be nervous talking on a podcast because no one's there, it's ridiculous.
It's not true. Yeah.
And then, a week later, we recorded it, started watching YouTube videos on editing because we hadn't even figured out how to edit anything yet because we hadn't recorded anything yet. Figured out how to put an intro and outro, was so excited.
Yep.
Learned to compress and amplify and that's about it.
Learning experience.
We learned about the levels last week.
Yeah, and so then what we didn't figure out was that the reason I have been louder on the first 10 podcasts was because my laptop microphone was set as the default and it was set to record at max volume. So it was recording me super loud and the rest of the microphones were still coming in and being recorded, but it was just default minimum level or whatever, and the mixer was not being used. It just bypassed the mixer somehow. I don't get that still. You could change the levels on the mixer, and I didn't change recording levels on any of the microphones.
Well, I think it's default. Yeah.
So it just bypassed it.
Yeah.
Even though the microphones went through it, I don't know. But so we finally figured that out. Last week was our first podcast where we actually had it working correctly with all the settings right, and even with testing audio beforehand, still got Ricky recorded all fucked up for the first 7 minutes. He was too loud. Believe it or not, Ricky was too loud for the...
It almost sounded like, what is autocorrect or what is it?
Auto-tune?
Auto-tune.
Yeah, every time you got... So what it was is Audacity has the recording levels. And what it turns out, which I didn't realize when we were testing it, was that basically limits the maximum level it will record at. So every time he hit that maximum level, it sounded like that auto-tune...
I need to learn how to use that to my advantage, like Kanye.
Yeah.
Hey.
So that's something that we've basically went by let's just start it and learn as we go, and it's gone all right. But what are so when you first when you were you know what, fuck it, I'm doing it. What was the steps you've gone through since then?
I listened to a crap ton of podcasts about podcasting.
A podcast about podcasting.
There's all kinds of podcasting.
I always just listen to things that I like to listen to and then steal their
ideas.
Yeah, so that part of it, a lot of research, just reading and stuff. But and listening to you guys kind of is also like, I'd say, helped me in some ways just to listen back to what I say first off when I'm on here, because like I notice just things like that I need to project a little better, and those sort of things.
Or buy a really expensive microphone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Either or.
Yeah, well, I didn't do that, so we're gonna have to learn how to project. But yeah, so I did that. I kind of I had an idea of what I wanted to do as far as a topic and stuff already, so at least an idea. It wasn't perfect, obviously. And then, so let's see, what did I do after that?
I know you said you had you started when you did your 00 like intro episode, which I know I found when I first looked up like, hey, starting a podcast. I was one of the friends they said like, don't do an episode 1, do an episode 00. We just kind of explain who you are, what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like a whatever. You said you had your wife listen to that.
Yeah, I had her listen to it, and she just thought that the message didn't come clearly, that I was trying to
Way to put her in a very nice light. For
yeah,
your wife.
I mean, she wasn't
We've
mean
yet
about
to get
it.
anyone to say anything bad about their wives on this podcast.
Yeah, she didn't say anything mean about it. She just said it was not what I don't know. I guess that's
what
the
you
best
want.
way.
I haven't gotten anyone to give us any constructive feedback. Everyone's been really nice.
Yeah.
I actually had an ex-girlfriend, I'll say, who listened to it for the first time, our last episode, and she was very nice. And I was like, hey, if you got any constructive feedback, let me know. And she was like, I don't feel like that's my place. And I feel like that's kind of what everyone's opinion has been. Is like they all just want to be supportive and nice. And it's like, I like that. It's been great. But if you got like, we know our topic is completely like we're general, like we're basically a talk show.
In general, yeah, exactly. You're right.
Like
That's true.
so we know that. But like if you got anything on top of that, anyone let us know, and we'll definitely listen to yours. And I've edited papers. I feel like you got to treat it like you're editing someone's paper. And be like, hey, you got a little.
I think it's so like when I thought about it, it's like being able to focus it, because like I feel like for mine it's going to be kind of like I want people to tell their stories, and I want them to like of struggle and success and what they've learned from that sort of thing.
So yeah, why don't you tell everyone like what your idea is?
So my idea is that my life, at least, and whenever I've told anybody kind of my story of my life, most people find it like ridiculous, and I'm like, it was just my life. I didn't notice it, and so it just kind of got me thinking that like maybe other people have gone through similar things and want to tell their stories, and then on top of that, like the thought that we're not alone in whatever we struggle with, like. Everybody has struggles, and in a lot of ways they're the same. So kind of the idea is for people to come on and tell their stories, either kind of a life story in a way, but I'm trying to hone that in a little more, because it seems like in an hour you're not going to be able to tell your life story. Or I don't want to do like a 5-part series with each person, so
You might have trouble finding people who are willing to record for 5 hours.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, unless it's
I don't know. There's
while
been a
watching
couple
football.
people that have been willing to come on or whatever, and they're like, "Oh well, I can't wait to tell you this and this and this," and I'm like, "Yeah, that seems like it's going to be a long time. It's going to take us a long time to talk about."
You
all
got to
that."
get through everything.
So that's I'm trying to figure out a way to hone it in a little more, but more or less, I kind of want it to be a community that brings people together, because I feel like we're kind of pretty separate in the world right now. So
I think for yours, you would do a 0-0 episode, but then also the first episode should be your story.
that's what it is
So,
going to be.
yeah.
That's for sure. That's what it's going to be, because I feel like I feel like I can't ask somebody else to tell me
Yeah, then
personal
you have to
details
set
about
the
their life.
bar,
If
and
I
then
yeah, exactly,
listening to
100%.
yours, you'll feel more comfortable.
It's going to be a little different, obviously, because I'll be interviewing. I can't interview myself. I mean, I can try, but I could. Do
I mean,
two.
you could have somebody come on if you
Yeah.
want. We would
And
be
so
happy
I
to
thought about that too.
interview you and at least be kind of a
Yeah, but
Just
how do
someone
you,
to keep
and
you-
So that was one of the big struggles I've been having, is how do you ask the right questions to get deeper? Because you could just say, "Oh, tell me your story." And so I've listened to some podcasts that were semi-similar, and it would be like, "Tell me your story," and the guy goes on for 24 minutes without the interviewer saying anything else. But it's like a whole story, like the whole entire life story, and like all these things, and it's like.
I
I
think
don't
you gotta, it'll take experience and
For
practice
sure.
of learning what things to have them expand on, because you don't want to have them expand on everything.
Yeah,
like you
exactly.
said, 5 hours. I think, I mean, ours goes hour and a half most of the time.
Yeah.
In fact, if we have a guest, it almost always goes an hour and a half.
At least.
I think yours definitely can be a 2-hour podcast. Joe Rogan's podcast is freaking like
I
3
know
hours
that.
every time.
But he has like 1 million viewers already. So like, are you gonna want to sit through somebody's? I mean, I guess I don't know.
It's
I
worth
guess
it for
kinda-
the shit.
I've
Yeah,
seen
for
other
sure.
people,
Yeah.
I mean, even Blair's.
just 'cause
Blair's is
yours
a very
is-
specific one. It's X-Wing board game.
Yeah.
They only do it though like once a month. And so then it's like,
It
it
comes
is
out.
like 2 to 3
That's-
hours.
Yeah.
Well, so then that's kind of like once a week almost if you just listen to an hour a week, basically.
Yeah, and so you could just do one long interview for him
Yeah.
and then just split it into 2 parts or
For sure.
something. I just think that's a type of podcast that people will listen to longer because it's not.
If I'm looking through and I see a random podcast and it's only like 25, 35 minutes, I'll just skip it. I don't want to.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So I think
gotta
you get
have,
people
like,
on
at
both
least an
sides. 'cause I
hour.
think
Yeah.
there's some people that it depends on
Well, it
how
depends on
long
like
you're going to
your
listen.
Yeah,
But
if you have a commute
And like the
the-
topic. Because
Yeah.
I'm usually looking for something super specific.
Yeah, no, same with me. I mean,
Because like in mine right now, because I don't have a long commute, the sports ones that are over an hour are tough to get through because I don't get through the whole thing in one sitting.
Yeah, and then you don't wanna go
By the time
back.
I go to finish it, it's kind of outdated and there's a new one already.
yeah.
So it just depends. I mean, you're going to have people who are going to want to listen
Yeah.
to it for a long
Well,
time.
in sports, it's hard because it is so like that particular, like
You gotta
that
be on
time
top of it.
period is very on. Yeah, exactly. It's like
But I think with the human story, people are willing to listen longer. You get
Yeah.
sucked in. You
That's the
do,
hope.
like you said, people will start you start realizing how many similarities there are, even if they went through a completely different thing.
yeah,
You don't have to have had a terrible life to have periods of your life where you're not happy.
for sure, 100%.
Or maybe not
Right.
depressed, but you know,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
not happy.
No, everybody has suffering and pain, guarantee it, in different ways.
I think all the trials in my life have been self-inflicted. Like I haven't had anything crazy just hit me other than like breaking my teeth, but that was a pretty minimal. It didn't cause a lot of issues down the road. But a lot of decisions I've made I've regretted, and like now, you know, I'm here where I am, and it's like I can't do poor me,
No, I
but
think
it doesn't mean
it's
that
about
it's
learning
been
from those
easy.
experiences.
Yeah, it doesn't
That's-
mean that it's like I should be happy with how my life has been just because they're all my own fault.
Should be at least happy
No.
about that.
But I think that also being grateful for what you do have is important, and that's like for me, that's been something that I've focused on more as I've gone along, I guess.
And that's been one of my biggest regrets has been not keeping in touch with people who I've met along my life and who have been like for a period of my life, like someone I really liked and spent time with, and then like life moves you away
Always
and you
does.
let them drift away, as
Yeah,
opposed to
it
in
always
the age
happens.
we've lived in. We've had Facebook since I started
Yeah.
college. There's no reason that I couldn't have kept in touch. And I
No.
do have Facebook friends from back then. I just
Yeah,
You-
it's
You can have like the best intentions of seeing someone. Like
It's always
anytime I
is.
see Jared, I'm
It's
like,
true.
oh shit, we should hang out like weekly.
I know
And then
it's
we
totally
never do.
true. It's always been that way.
But at least with, like I said, with social media, you comment on Jared's shit. You guys post things, tag each other and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
there's at least some sort of connection still there to where if you saw them, it's not like, oh my god, I haven't seen you in 10 years.
Yeah.
You feel like you've seen them.
That was the best part about Xbox Live back in the day. Is that anytime any one of your friends, you'd be like, oh shit, I haven't talked to you for, and then you spend a couple hours with them.
yeah,
But yeah, I think the tough part with yours is, like you said, that first episode where you tell your life story, who's going to be the one who digs and guides you?
it's
or are you going to try it? Yeah, try to
don't-
do that yourself will be tough.
I'm not against having somebody tell me or talk to me about it. Like it's
Maybe your wife. I mean, someone who
Yeah,
knows
we talked
you
about that. We talked about me and her talked about.
intimately.
She doesn't really want to be on a mic very much, but she's less. But
she's just
she likes
guiding-
the idea actually
Yeah.
of a podcast, but she doesn't like the idea of having to.
I know a couple people that like,
She
I don't
should-
want to listen.
She wants.
To
She would
myself.
want to be in the background. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
You
more-
should have her. So on Instagram, one thing we've been doing is adding Instagram accounts because we're like, hey, who's better
Yeah, I
to
saw
support
that.
us and help support is other Instagram accounts. And I've downloaded just a couple so far and listened. You listen to these other small ones, and you realize, you know, it's just people like us just talking about something
Yeah.
they want to talk about. And I think it does make you feel more comfortable. You're like, oh, like they're no better to
Yeah,
do this
exactly,
than I
right.
am. Like
Mhm.
I listened to one today, and like it was back and forth between really annoying and then really like kind of like all of a sudden passionate about this like topic.
Yeah,
But she was very
I've been listening to. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called My Favorite Murder. So a friend recommended. It's like these two women that talk about different murders, basically each
Women
week.
love murder.
Yeah, it was like, and so like I listened to like their first episode, and like after like 3 episodes, they had 8,000 people listening already.
Nice.
I was like, what the hell is
like
going?
I can't get people
And
on
they're
Facebook
like-
to just subscribe.
They're not anybody I've ever heard of before. Like
People
it-
love true crime.
Yeah,
If you're
it's
doing a deep dive on true crime and you're doing a
yeah.
good
It
job.
was
Yeah,
like
the-
each week they both pick a story basically and tell you like all the details and everything.
Yeah.
And like I grew up on that stuff always. Like it was
The
a
other thing
big,
too is like iTunes randomly spotlights.
Yeah, I
podcasts.
saw that.
If you accidentally get on that, you're gonna get a spike, and then hopefully
I
you're
left
good
you-
enough to maintain.
So
a
you
few
guys
of
know
them.
I left you guys a very kind review on there.
I did, actually, I
It
read
didn't
it.
show up, does it?
It did. I just saw
Oh,
it
nice.
like just a couple
Okay,
days
it didn't
ago.
show up.
We were at
right
Hook's
away. I
house.
was like,
no,
oh.
it was yesterday because we were at Hook's house, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
We have a thing. Or maybe I was at home
Because it said not enough
represented-
reviews to show or
Yeah.
something is what it said.
That's
I was
what
like,
happened.
oh, it must be.
Yeah,
that's
so it
one
won't
for-
show the rating, but it'll show the comments.
Oh, okay.
Because
Once it gets to a certain amount of people,
I
it'll
was at
show the-
home because my sister and brother-in-law were over, and they just greatly wanted to subscribe and download all the episodes and
Good.
needed my help. So I was on their phones doing that and rating us. And I saw it. I was like, oh shit, we got a comment. And I was like, oh, Willie Mangold for like.
Yeah, of
I was like,
course.
okay, I know
Of
who that
course,
is.
yeah.
But still, no.
Yeah.
It was,
I mean, I tried. I was thinking about putting a fake name in there, but I was like,
I left a review on Johnny and Jack's podcast.
did you?
And
That's
they
good.
didn't know it was me for the first week.
they,
Nice.
they do Pac-12 or something.
Yeah,
right?
they do Pac-12, but
Yeah.
they'd always bring up Alex Frisell, and I was just like,
Yeah.
it's Alex Frisell.
I
you're
feel like you
talking
guys
about.
mention me. You guys mention me just about every week. I feel like.
Well, maybe we know you. If we know
Even
you're
if-
listening, then we're gonna
You-
mention
you
you.
and Lori and
So,
Hook are the only two
yeah, I was
that I
just gonna
know
say, hi,
actually
Kyle.
listen every week.
We're
Yeah.
sorry. We're sorry about your sins.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
We've all seen the video.
I'm sorry,
We're
I
on
said
your
that
side,
they would
buddy.
make it to the Super Bowl.
This is all
Yeah,
Vake's fault.
exactly. That was. We'll get into it later.
But yeah, I think your wife would be a really good one because if you start glossing over something that she knows to be
It's true.
either important or that out from an outside perspective she knows is interesting, like
Yeah.
if I interviewed you and I don't know about it, like it's just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go where she
Plus,
might
she'll be able
like,
to tell like if you're like nervous or something.
Yeah.
Just talking about.
That's true. I don't think I'll be nervous for that though. I mean, I've always been pretty open book on most of that stuff, just because I don't know. I just feel like.
I think it's one of those things too that once you start, it's like a flood.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of. I don't know that I have a launch date at this point. I'm just trying to get it all to a place where I feel comfortable with it, I guess. Which is probably overkill because I definitely spent way too much time editing the other day.
Yeah, that's
like-
one thing that right away I refused. I was like, nope, not
Yeah.
gonna. Like I edit the intro, the outro. Now we're editing in our fake sponsorship from our we blowing up segment.
We'd
Yeah.
like to thank Macaroni and
Those
Cheese.
are genius,
Macaroni and
genius
cheese
things.
last
Yeah.
They're pretty fun. Hooper was actually really good. He's like, oh, the dog one. He's like, it
I
was
was
so
trying to-
cheesy, which was actually what I was going for.
I was trying to think of some small businesses, and I did have one, but then they're not open anymore. So
Oh, and we would definitely be willing to do the fake sponsorship with real companies that are small.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, it's really cool.
We're just
Actually,
not
though.
gonna
You could do
promote
one of
large-
each, maybe like one real one and one like
Two.
mac and cheese or the letter A or whatever.
Basically, what it is.
Yeah, because those are hilarious.
you also talked about doing a network.
I want to do that still.
Which, if we
Because-
can find a good way to do that, I would love to do it because me and Ricky already have like other things we want to do podcasts on.
For sure, because
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
have
so
a
many.
full idea.
This my topic that I'm having so much hard time on. I have like at least 5 other topics that I feel like I could just run away with. It's just this one I'm like putting way more thought into because I'm trying to be pretty serious about it.
Yeah,
So, but like I have all these other ideas, and I'm like, these ones I could be gone already. It
Yeah.
could be because it's not like even sports in general. Like, you don't need to like put a whole lot of thought into that. You just need to listen or watch some of the sports, and then you can give your opinion on it more or less. So,
well, I think we're gonna record a few others, and at least for now, until we can find a good networking option, do it kind of like so the Ringer does their NBA show, but every
Yeah.
week it's like different people and a different focus.
Yeah.
So like they do like the draft guys, they do
oh, nice.
whatever. Because Ricky wants to do skate videos. I definitely want to do a Game of Thrones
Yeah.
series.
I think music for you is big time because I know you're
Yep.
like,
Big
and
Tony
I,
B
Ties
I'm
that with
saying
skate
I'm
videos.
very big on music in general too. So, like,
See, I think there's still good
There's-
ones that we
there's
can
some
bring guests
definite-
on or record ourselves.
yeah, there's
I've
some
got a
definite
friend.
options. I feel like that I've looked up like pretty much most of the different hosting things.
We got
And-
woke ass Tony B's.
Yeah, we gotta get him on. He's been one of our better supporters too. I don't know if he actually listens, but he shares it on Facebook every time, and
Oh yeah,
we need to get him on for sure.
He texted me this morning. You guys going to talk about the Saints? And
Oh, did
I was
he?
like, you should get on and talk to it with us.
Shit, we should
He
see
never
if he wants to
responded after
Skype
that.
in an interview. or just come over.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
can come right over. We can edit. That's the other thing we can do. We haven't really done is like interview someone for 20, 30 minutes and then just edit them into.
Yeah, I was thinking about
Another-
that for you guys, like to do just have like a separate, even if you just add that on or
Cause
kind
there's
of
a lot
throw
of
that in.
podcasts that
Yeah.
they record the intro. It's like a 10, 15 minute
For sure.
intro. And then they, even Mark Maron every time, it's just him talking and then he's like,
Yeah.
and then he goes to the interview he did like a week ago.
Yeah, Tim Ferriss is that way too. It's like he does an intro to the person and an exit, and then the rest of it's all pre-recorded.
But it'd be nice. We need to figure out who can make a website. Because even with Podbean, which we use to distribute
Squarespace.
Oh.
ours. Huh?
Squarespace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but you got to pay for Squarespace.
all of them are.
If we know someone
mostly-
who can get something up and running for us cheap, we just have to buy a domain name, and then we don't have to pay a monthly fee. I'm already paying a monthly fee for Podbean, and it's not much, so I don't care. And they distribute. So we
So
can
the-
actually switch on Podbean to what is our main website,
What is that?
so that when people click, it takes them to our website instead of the vago4 at podbean.com, whatever it is.
We'll think of a domain to buy.
Fair weather.
Names are not easy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Network.
Seriously,
Yeah, 'cause we
I've
don't
been
want the network
struggling.
name to be our.
I was
This for at least for me and Ricky. This would be our flagship show.
yeah.
I was trying to think of names for because I want to do the Game of Thrones one, and I don't know if you want to do it, Ricky, because you haven't seen the show. Plus, I don't know how it would work with scheduling,
It's true.
so it might be one where you're on some and not others. Because I want to do a recap show like either Tuesday or Wednesday nights with Hook and
Can
my
do
old
it.
roommate Ryan.
Yeah, you guys are the experts, and I'm the noob.
Yeah, so I actually think it would be fun if you could be on and we basically recap the show for you, and have your reactions and like asking us questions like, well, wait a minute, what about this?
So the Anchor is the one that's free. Everything's free. You don't even have to.
It's a network or is it?
No, this would be more for just one show, but it's they do. So a lot of people said it was bad at first because you didn't own your content or whatever. But I guess
yeah.
they've changed that now. more
Okay,
recently.
yeah, I wouldn't like that. 'cause
And they lose money, I guess, regularly, so they may shut down at some point.
oh, well, that's why I like Podbean.
But it's been a year or two now that they've been open, and some people say really good things about them. So I was considering using that at first at least, and then you can always transfer to like Bluehost or whatever, one of those ones that you have to pay for more serious.
Yeah, I mean, you brought this up a couple months ago, and I haven't done any research at all on it. I
Yeah.
won't lie. But with the holidays and stuff, like,
No, it's totally
it just
okay.
didn't really happen. Now we're kind of back into the flow of it because I was gone the first half of December, so we went a few weeks without a podcast, and then right after Christmas we went like 3 weeks. So we're
Yeah,
kind of getting back in the flow
Totally
of it.
understandable. You're not the only one, I don't think.
But yeah, but it would be cool. Like I said, Ricky wants to escape one of Game of Thrones, and then maybe do a. I don't know if I watch enough NBA to really do one, but I probably can do a 20-minute one once
Yeah.
a week pretty easily.
I always thought like even just like this week in sports or this,
Yeah, just
talk
do a
about that
general
week,
sports
or
one.
even you could be Seattle sports if you wanted to do that, like just based because I mean I don't know if there's enough to talk about on a daily basis in sports. I mean there is, but
Would love if people gave us feedback.
How about
Yeah.
those Mariners?
Topics
Yeah,
they would like
exactly.
to hear about, or
Yeah.
if they want to come on the show. We definitely need to now
if you
that
want
we
to create a show, you could come to our network, baby.
yeah, and then ours we definitely need to put out for
That
people to
doesn't
come on
exist.
over Skype and talk about things they're interested in. I've got a friend who I guess recently got into like rockets,
Oh yeah,
like model rockets and shooting them off and stuff. So I feel like that's a topic we could talk to them about for
yeah.
20, 30 minutes. So like I said, we can do an episode where we only
Yeah.
talk to someone for 20 or 30 minutes and the rest is just us.
We're good at filling.
Or even multiple interviews.
Yeah, really, multiple even would be fine.
That's the hardest part about having it be the two of us, though. Is it's good. Right now I have ultimate scheduling, but then just scheduling between Ricky and whoever the guest
yeah,
is.
it's true.
And then once
yeah.
I have a job again, if that ever happens,
Well, maybe you and Ricky will have to Skype.
I know we find people who are willing to record at like 9:30 at night.
Yeah,
Or I guess, well, at least right now we could do it before you go to work since you're doing like 1 to 9 all the time.
Yeah,
But the problem is most people have day jobs.
that's yep.
yeah.
Damn, Hook and Liz only want to do it on the weekends.
We should get Bunk. I haven't asked Bunk in a while.
Yeah, Bunk. And I would love to do. Bunk had an idea of like literally teaching us a board game.
Oh yeah. He
We would
Way back
definitely
when
want
we-
the ARM
we made a board
ones for that.
for Axis and Allies. It was painted. It was like I don't know. You don't know what that is probably, but it's like a World War II game. And
Okay.
Bunky, I think I posted it on Facebook, and Bunky was big in it. And I was like, I should just give him that board. We have not played that game in years, and it was like
I could
it's-
see him
it's
putting it on his
super
wall.
custom. It's like we had a person from high school, Ellie Reed, shout out, and she painted it all, hand painted it, and like it's super cool. But just haven't used it because the game takes like 12 hours to play. And
It sounds familiar.
yeah,
Yeah, I definitely have heard that name, but I never
Yeah, it's like like World War II set up exactly how
Yeah.
World War II was, and you have to basically roll dice to like kind of decide who wins. You're either the Axis or the Allies.
Don't call him General
It
Bunky.
was a
for
good
not
game,
knowing.
but it
I was
was
say he was huge in World War II. We went to the World War II Museum in New Orleans on Hook's bachelor party.
nice.
Was he like running over to every exhibit? guys, look at this.
No, Bunky always has to pretend like he's not impressed with anything. No, not really. I don't know. We all got scattered. I mean,
Yeah.
we were just all at our own pace, and there's videos. It's kind of cool because they had pretty much like they had videos that if you timed it, you could just basically follow the videos and go through,
Oh yeah,
or you could just like read the plaques and things.
that's cool. There's a documentary coming out that looks pretty good for. It was like see the preview in the movie theaters. It was like original footage from then. It was pretty cool. Anyways, I don't remember what it's called, but I went to the movies and watched. Mule.
Oh yeah, is that
And-
good?
It's pretty good. It
what's
reminds
his-
me
What's his name?
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood.
He
Thank you.
plays an old kind of dumb guy. He starts smuggling drugs without really knowing it, and then eventually he figures it out, but he just keeps going. But he's like, just like, oh hey, how's it going? Like doesn't really like act like he knows what's going on at all. But it's kind of funny. It reminds me of Katie's grandpa, my wife's grandpa. And so he used to be a truck driver, and I can totally imagine him doing the same thing. It's like just making the mistake, I guess, or whatever.
Falling into the trap.
Yeah, but
All right. Well, I feel like this is a good time to switch gears, but keep an eye out for us more podcasts.
sure.
Like I said, if you
Name
want to put
suggestions.
your first episode through our account on Podbean,
yeah,
if you want to, let us know. We'd definitely put it up there. Try to make it clear that it's
Separate.
your episode.
I mean, I think it'll be obvious.
your intro.
Yeah,
But we'll keep people informed. Look for us on Instagram, Fair Weather Friends. You're gonna have to get once you get a name, get an
Yeah.
account.
name's the hard
That
part.
name's gonna be a tough one. We kind of
What
went
should we-
real
It's-
fast on ours.
And no, well, your name is awesome too. Like
We got kind of lucky.
there is other ones named the same thing, but
Well, there's episodes. When I've looked at it, I've found podcasts that have named episodes Fairweather Friends,
oh really?
but no, I haven't. Never when I've looked.
I think I found some, but they just did it different. They didn't do a hyphen in the middle, or
Oh, okay.
and so like yeah,
that's why.
it sucks. Like there even one. So I'm like, when does that expire? Like, because like there's some that like I like the name, but it's like they haven't made it since 2016. I mean,
I
that's,
just use it. 'cause
Yeah,
they're the
exactly.
only ones.
That's I'm like
They're the only ones who can come at you for it, and even then, like,
really
especially
good.
if you're not making money.
No,
what-
exactly. That's not at all my goal at all in this particular podcast.
I would love to make.
I mean, it would be
a little
great, of course, but honestly, like
go
if
for Gobi.
by listening to all these podcasts about podcasting, they all say it's really hard to make money. That you,
Yeah, they
bit.
do
Well,
it
that's what I'm
for
trying to
love.
get people to just subscribe.
MJ.
yeah,
Don't listen. We don't care.
you can get advertisers but only the big time people get the money. So
Well, Podbean has a program where if you're getting enough downloads per month or episode or whatever, you can get little, and it's not
Yeah.
like little $10,
yeah,
and they insert it for you. All you
Oh,
have to
nice.
do is you
send them
you put on when you publish the episode at what time in the podcast have it inserted
Oh, nice.
or multiple.
I've seen
So we would just have to be cognizant of like, all right, now to our.
yeah, I've seen
basically
that
like
there is.
that's what we're practicing for with We Blown Up.
I've seen that there's some people that do the what is it where you the like tip thing. It's like where you can you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like on Twitch.
Yeah, it's kind of like a tip.
Donate.
And you get extra episodes for that though. Like you like you subscribe
bonus
and you pay a little bit of money per month, like $5 or whatever,
We
Like
can
on
do
paid-
that.
and then you be
On
like, oh,
Podbean,
I'll
you
throw
can
in
do that
3
too.
more extra episodes because you paid the extra money.
I do my Simpsons podcast I listen to. They do that and an exclusive group on Facebook that you get access to.
Yeah,
You pay
so
like
similar
$1 a
like
month.
that kind of thing, which
We definitely on Podbean you can do that too. You can put it behind the paywall.
Yeah.
They're like, I saw I get, targeted advertising on it was like Facebook or
course.
something where they're like, hey, if you get, even if you just charge $1 an episode,
I don't want. I mean, it just has to
make
be the
so
right
much
thing.
money, make $2,000
Yeah.
a month off of whatever,
Yeah.
We're definitely not doing that.
No, I don't. I don't think we're ready for that yet.
We
but,
don't get
But maybe
downloads.
after, if we have a network and we have a whole bunch of shows, like
Literally the most
maybe sometime.
downloads we've had on one episode so far is 42.
Yeah. Well,
Those 42 people
We
are
gotta get
not
you
going
out
to
there
download it.
Not bad.
And like 7 of those downloads are like me, Ricky, and my family.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been
Actually,
sharing
no.
it on Twitter.
My
I
mom,
feel like
my
there might
mom,
be more
sister, and
Twitter people
brother-in-law.
listening.
Not even my whole family subscribes.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep an eye out for
I don't even
that.
think Matt subscribes. He's been on it.
What a dick. He actually got, I think, got the
his
most.
mic's up still.
I think he got the most nervous of anybody, which was surprising.
Yeah.
I think he would be good if we do it again. We weren't. I thought we would talk more about it, and it kind of got. We didn't do a very good job, let's say, of keeping it moving.
Nope.
We kind of were just like talk about
It was
stuff.
pretty early on, right? Like second
Oh yeah,
or
it was
third
like
episode.
the third one I think is before the hoop episode when we.
And it was what the Cowboys were playing the Eagles.
Or no, it was after the hoop episode. Because it was like I think that was our first official
I think it was
Fairweather
right
Friends
after it,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah. So the hoop episode is called Birth of Fairweather Friends or hashtag Birth
Yeah, I
of Fairweather
remember that.
Friends. All right, we'll jump into We Blowing Up. So this is where we practice for when we do have advertisers, and we'll insert a fake sponsor
Stay tuned.
because clearly that's, as we just discussed, that's clearly going to happen, and we're going to make lots of money. So, so we'll be back right after this episode sponsor. Hey guys, Jared, Ricky. You guys ever been playing like basketball, soccer, some other team sport, and you get stuck with like guys who either really aren't up to your level of talent or they just don't care enough?
Yes, it's terrible.
Isn't it frustrating when you just want to win and everyone else is slacking or whatever?
Or if you get stuck on a good team that's winning and you just want to break.
I'm not gonna lie, that usually doesn't happen to me.
No, me either.
What I want to tell you guys about is a sport where it's all on you. There's no one out there but you and the ball and the club. I'm talking golf.
Golf's amazing.
You got, some call it the greatest game ever played. All those are golfers.
Mostly.
I don't think anyone who doesn't golf has ever said that.
No, definitely not.
But it's great. You're out there, you get to golf with people, but you're really just competing with yourself.
For sure. Against the
Jared,
Wolves.
actually, yeah, you golf.
Constantly. Well, not so much lately, but
I was going to say, how has the golf game been? Because I feel like you've gotten a lot better since we golfed, which was like at least 4 years ago, probably.
yeah, I don't know that I've gotten better, but I have better days for sure. I mean, I've shot in the 70s a couple times, but
I have never shot in the 70s, so
Yeah.
you've definitely gotten a lot better. I did golf shooting 81 this summer
that's
at
good.
Snoqualmie,
Damn good.
which was weird because I hadn't golfed in a year.
What about you, Ricky?
I've never played an official full round.
Never done a full round with it? I mean,
Never like.
We'll get you
with
out
keeping
there.
score and everything. What they need to get around here is Top Golf. It needs to come to Seattle.
It's been talked about.
They've done it in Safeco.
Oh, yeah.
Or
I saw that
CenturyLink.
they
One
were
of them. They
thinking
set it up in
Kirkland.
CenturyLink, I think, actually.
I
They
feel like
set it up for like
Kirkland
a
or Bellevue
couple
or
weeks.
something was talking about it.
That would be awesome.
Is this a blanket promotion for all forms of golf?
Yes.
We're
I
talking
guess
mini
so.
golf?
Ooh, yeah. How's
Mini
your mini
golf
golf game,
needs
Ricky?
to come back too.
Oh, I'm a big mini golf guy.
Yeah, I love
You
mini
got
golf.
that Happy Gilmore stance?
Yeah.
Ooh. And actually, I'll throw out a support for Flat Stick Pub. 3 locations around Kirkland, Seattle. They have mini golf indoors, and it's a pub.
Oh, that's
We
nice.
need to go there.
I like
Beer
it.
and mini golf. I've been to 2 of the 3 locations. Great place.
I will
Also-
say Top Golf is pretty expensive when I've been.
Is it?
It's like $30
They have it in Vegas, Ricky.
for an hour.
Hey,
Yeah, they do.
Bachelor party Top Golf.
we're blanketing frisbee golf in with this.
Ooh, I'm a disc golfer too.
Yeah,
I like disc golf.
I like that. I've done it a couple
golf?
times.
We've played around disc golf, Ricky, over in Mount Vernon, the little
yeah.
one.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun course.
Golf, people. Disc
I-
golf, not so expensive. You can
No,
get a
for
set of like 3 starter discs for like $30.
For
If
sure.
you try hard enough, you can just go out and find them.
Yep. If you're willing to go out into the bushes and stuff. I've lost one at Northern State up here. Go look
Oh, yeah.
for it.
I've heard good things about that.
Spend a
one.
few
I haven't
hours.
been there, but-
I'm sure it got found when they mowed, but love it. If you look for a sport where you can play alone or with people and
and forever.
no one's going to make you lose.
You can do it drunk.
Yeah.
Oh, you definitely
Most
do it
people
drunk.
do drink. I feel like.
I try not to drink while I'm golfing in the heat, like the middle of summer, because then you just get dehydrated and
Yeah.
have a bad time.
Not
Yeah.
gonna have a bad time.
Big supporters of golf. I knew if Corey Walton was here, he would support it as well. Hook likes to golf now and again. Liz even had some clubs in the truck the
Oh
other day.
man,
So if you're listening to this episode brought to you by the greatest game ever played, the game of golf.
The Legend of Bagger Vance.
Yes, great movie. It gets terrible, which the greatest game ever played is also a title
Yeah,
of a
I
golf
know.
movie. The Legend of Bagger Vance. People bash that movie. I love it.
I think it's a good
Matt
movie.
Damon and Will
I've never
Smith.
watched it.
Oh man, it's a good movie.
And Will Smith's Bagger Vance. And
Yeah.
he just, in the end, spoiler, walks off
Yeah.
into the distance and just disappears.
I think he might have been fake the whole time, but I'm not sure.
I think he was
He
in.
was a
He was
spirit?
Matt Damon's imagination.
Yeah.
I'd imagine Will Smith
Oh
too.
my God, he probably was. That's why he couldn't caddy. The kid caddied. Beggar Vance just
Oh, that's
walked with
true.
him. Did anyone else ever? I have to rewatch that now. Did anyone else ever talk to Beggar Vance? The kid did.
The kid definitely did.
All right.
Kid's also likely more likely to play along with an imaginary friend.
That's true. Matt Damon was a drunk who came back from
Yeah,
war.
it's
He
true.
could easily have had an imaginary friend.
Did have Charlize Theron in that. show.
Oh, that's true. Charlize Theron as well.
Very-
She gets down to her skivvies, although it's an old movie, so her skivvies were a lot bigger. But the kid got a peek.
Yeah, he did.
All right, so once again, this episode brought to you by the game of golf in all forms: miniature, disc, regular golf. Ooh, soccer golf. I've
Right?
never actually played it.
I haven't.
They got a
either,
course
but
in
I've heard-
Seattle.
Yeah,
Video golf, Lee Trevino's punting challenge.
Oh yeah, what's the one? Golden Tee bars.
haven't seen it.
Wii, play on Wii. I don't know. Play golf. Fucking play
Virtual
golf. Virtual golf. I've done that at the golf show.
I have
It's
too.
awesome,
It's
man.
fun. Yeah, I did in Vegas.
All right. Well, on that, back to the show where I'm about to say I wonder what we did,
Yeah.
and we're back, and we'll figure out the sponsor later. I mean, shit, we did, and it was
Great
good.
sponsor, thank you.
Greatest.
But now we definitely get into the sports section of the show because the freaking championship weekend just happened.
It's it was a day that began with a lot of hope.
Disappointing. Super disappointing weekend
Super disappointing. Oh,
for me.
Okay, so
I'd say.
for one, it was the 4 best teams, hands down,
Well, I mean, I like that.
the year. Yeah. So it was literally the 4 teams everyone expected by like week 6.
I'd say that's true.
And then you
Yep.
had the 2 largest quarterback age disparities in the history of the NFL. And in the last 5 oldest gaps, the older quarterback, or biggest gaps, the older quarterback won. This week it split.
Yeah,
So who are you rooting for to win, to go to the Super Bowl?
I was rooting for the Saints, of course, because we play in the same division as the Rams, so
Yeah, I couldn't root for the Rams either.
couldn't root for them, and I can never root for the Patriots in my entire life. So
So you lost on both accounts.
yeah, exactly.
I
And
had picked Saints Patriots, but
I would have liked to see that. Like I would, but it was just I didn't want to see the Rams and the Patriots. So once the Rams won, I knew I couldn't have the Patriots.
I definitely would have been fine with the Chiefs winning. I wasn't rooting
Oh,
for
yeah.
the Patriots because I was like, it's kind of cool seeing the greatest
For sure.
dynasty of all time happening in our 30s.
I was thinking
20s,
about
30s.
if he if Tom Brady wins this one, will he retire?
I've already seen
and-
that tweet of
And if he does, then I'm gonna I'll actually be sad because I love hating him.
and it's kind of like
It's something like it's something to that. There's
Yeah.
you know
well, it'll be like when Kobe retired and when Jeter retired. Like the sport loses something.
Yeah.
Or when Tiger was not good. Like,
yeah.
even if you don't watch them all the time, knowing they're in there and that they're gonna compete and it's
Yeah.
it's different.
Well, and hoping that the Seahawks get to the Super Bowl and beat their asses.
Yeah, it won't be no revenge game if
Yeah, I so want the revenge game.
if he retires. But I could see
You're gonna have
that.
to wait another 20 years
I
for
know
that.
this.
Yeah,
I think I'll have to wait in my
Bill
life.
Belichick the third will be.
Hopefully, we don't turn into the Cowboys where in the 2030s we're still talking about our.
Oh, it's coming, guys.
Actually,
I don't think
Just
so.
you wait.
I think we're building pretty strong.
Remember back in my day, Russell Wilson threw it on the one.
But that Saints-Rams game, Saints controlled the game the whole way. The Rams had their quick hitting drive right before the end of the first half, which made it a game. And that's the thing that the biggest difference in those two teams is the Saints didn't have a quick hitting offense anymore, like when they
Yeah.
threw the ball more,
Yeah.
and they never got the run game going. But then with like a minute 50 left on third down, the worst non-call, the most obvious, let's say the most obvious non-call.
There's got to be an untold story about the Saints offense, though. They really fell off.
They did.
Well, they did the same thing
Well,
last year.
And they were talking about on the radio this morning. They were talking about the fact that he didn't throw past over 40 yards, or he only threw one pass 40 yards, and everything else was short. That he doesn't have the arm anymore.
Well, this
That
is
one
what
to Ted
people-
Ginn, he just got completely
go.
lucky.
Pretty
Yeah.
lucky. I mean, it was a 50-50 ball. But this is the thing no one's been talking about for years now. When the Saints got good again last year, it was on the back of the run game. At the end of the year, teams
Yeah.
decided, it's probably better actually to stop the run and make Breeze beat us,
Yeah.
which seems like a weird thing to say. But the last 4 weeks of last year, they stopped being able to run the ball because teams shut it down, and then that happened at the end of this year, and they looked good last week, but yeah. The Rams said, we're going to make Breeze beat us, and he
I was
only
sup-
dinks and dunks now.
I was also surprised with the Rams benching
Gurley,
Gurley,
they
I
said
don't
he's
even-
healthy.
Yeah, I don't know what they just said. He wasn't playing good. I'm
Yeah,
like,
after
that
those
doesn't-
2 drops, he
isn't
just
that
never
like
came
a-
back.
It'd be interesting to see
It's
after
gotta
2
be.
weeks what
You
happens
would
in the
think.
Super Bowl.
But
Yeah, no
and
doubt.
at the end of the game, he's crying. I just love this guy.
But that non-call, man. So
Oh, it was terrible.
the guy beats the ball by like 2 seconds.
Yeah, and
And
he's
if,
not looking back.
if they, he admitted,
yeah,
I thought I was beat for a touchdown, so I was trying to stop a touchdown.
yeah,
And if they make the call, it's pass interference, automatic first down. Rams had 1 timeout.
Yeah, and it would be
So
like
the
a
Saints
minute
could have-
27 or
The
something.
Saints could have run the clock down
Yeah.
to 4 seconds and kicked a field goal.
Yeah.
And then the Rams have no chance to rebuttal.
yeah.
Instead, it gets rebuttal, it goes to overtime. Saints had every chance to win in
They
overtime.
should have. Yeah, exactly. If they still have the chance to win, they just.
And one of the best playoff field goals of all
Oh,
time
yeah.
now. 57-yarder. I
To
guess
win
they're
it.
indoors.
And
Still,
it looked like it would have
57
made it
is,
by 70. If
that's
it
some
was,
serious heat.
They would have made it if it was 70 yards. It looked like it was pretty damn good.
It's kicks like that that make the Seahawks fans all pissed that we
I know.
let
Well, Zerline has always been that,
Hauschka
honestly.
go. But Hauschka was so solid. It's like, what,
Yeah.
we're not willing to pay him $3 million a year? Really?
Yeah. Well, he had a bad year the year we released him, but
But it wasn't that bad.
it wasn't that bad. But it was
Not as
but
bad
it
as
was
most
not
of
as
these
good
guys.
as he's been again since he left again.
The Chargers would love our bad kicker situation
Yeah,
because they're so first. Hell of a game,
we
though,
have a good
man.
kicker.
yeah, it was a great game. man.
What did it end up? 26-23?
Yep. I'm just disappointed that the Rams won, but that's just me. I mean,
No, I can't.
I'll get over it.
I can't root for the division rival either.
So now, do you root for the Patriots or do you root for the Rams?
I'm
It's
rooting for the
really-
Patriots.
All right.
I've never been anti-Patriots.
I have. I always have.
And actually, I kind of
I
think,
think the
it's
first year they won, like when Bledsoe was
got hurt
replaced,
and Brady
yeah,
came in.
that year I did root for them, I think. But every year since then, I pretty much have been anti.
I always find it funny to root for them and then see all the people get angry that they won.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh.
I had my one pro Patriots year because of Chad Ochocinco.
Oh, yeah.
The undefeated year.
I've had Brady on my dynasty fantasy team for a couple years now too.
How
Led
can
me
you
to-
not like Gronkowski as well?
Yeah. I do.
He's that guy's a legend.
I know it's true. He's tough not to like.
And so that game, Patriots shut out the Chiefs in the first half. They go into the fourth quarter 17-7.
It was
Patriots
a
gave up
pretty-
31 second half points.
It's like a fast moving game, and then the fourth quarter took like
Yeah.
2 hours.
Brady threw 2 interceptions. All this shit happened, and it went to overtime. Patriots get the coin toss, complete 3 third and 10s, which
Drive it right
Romo-
down the field.
everyone's loves Romo because he can predict which receiver Brady's going to throw to.
He knows the play exactly as soon as he sees the formation.
Edelman only runs 2
incredible.
routes,
Yeah.
and Brady only throws to 2 receivers.
Okay, next time we're gonna silence it, and you're gonna tell me exactly what they're gonna do,
You gotta
and
admit,
we're gonna
you gotta admit he repeated me like 4 times in that game.
with
I-
points, not with actual play calling though.
Yeah. You got to be impressed with how much they ran the ball in that game too. They ran it for like
I know this
50
high-flying,
times or something.
this high-flying era we live in, and yet all the teams that have won in the playoffs so far have been the
Yeah.
teams that have run the ball better.
Yeah, considering
In
how
literally
many
every
people
game.
are like been crapping on Pete Carroll since the end of the season
And
about
well,
The
about
problem
Seahawks
is these
running
other
the
teams
they
ball.
are-
couldn't run. That was crazy.
Well, and the problem is these other teams are smarter about it, and they'll set the run up with the pass. Like they mix it
Yeah.
up better. Where the Seahawks, first down,
Pretty
run,
obvious.
second
Yeah,
down,
you're right.
run.
That's true.
Oh, 3rd and 8. I guess we better pass.
Yeah.
Like that's what kills me is the predictability of the play based
The
on
Rams
the formation.
also had that fake punt.
Yeah, that was a really you're right.
Huge fake
That got
punt. Which the
them.
Saints did the week before from their own 30.
Yeah,
We were live
I saw that.
on Instagram.
Yeah,
Hook waving his arm. Turn it off! Turn it off! He was
That
so
was a hook. That
pissed.
was me.
You came over and did that too. You jumped in between. You're like, all right, end the video. I did not end it. Oh man, it was so. I didn't. I mean, I was rooting against the Rams, but I wasn't really that invested. But it was so hard being around Hook right after the
yeah.
after the Rams made that game-winning field goal, and he was so down. It was like none of us wanted to like. We waited. He took like 15 to 20 minutes, and then he started kind of being old Hook again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to give him his cool down period.
Yeah,
Well, I
we all
mean-
were just
I
kind of
mean,
quiet.
I think that's everybody that's a
Mhm.
fan. Like I mean, I was pissed off after the Cowboys Seahawks game. I mean, it's just how it goes. I don't know.
Yep.
If you're a true fan, you invest in the team.
It stings a
You're
bit.
not ready to go. You're not ready to go home. You're not ready to be done with the season.
It's
like-
nice to
a
get
long
that
time.
invested.
Charles Woodson immediately says,
Yeah.
"Nobody say anything about the Tuck Rule game."
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of things saying that this may lead to rule change of
The review.
review anything kind
Well,
of thing.
I guess Canadian Football League has that.
Yeah, and they've been like Belichick and Carroll and I think even Peyton have been like trying to get that for a few years, to try to get it so you can review any play, still get the same amount of challenges, but you just can pick any play and review that. So
Whether there's a call, a non-call.
yeah, exactly. And
pass
even what is
interference.
the NBA does something similar, or where they like in the last 2 minutes they can pretty much review anything, right?
Yeah, and
even
the
even
CFL
if it goes out of bounds on somebody or whatever even if it's like a judgment call,
Well, and I just looked it up, and the CFL, they do the same thing, too. It's still only 2 challenges per game.
Yeah.
With a third.
I don't know why that adds any time to
You
the
get
game.
a
I
third
don't
if you
feel like
win
it does.
both. No,
Yeah.
so you're still not adding reviews. You're just changing what can be reviewed.
And considering the amount of yards usually lost on a pass interference, if it is a bad call, then like
Oh yeah.
you get
That's
usually
a-
it can be a 50-yard
that's a
penalty.
backbreaker.
Sometimes that's the only thing the offense can do.
Well, and in
in a
that
game is like-
Chiefs-Patriots game, Mahomes got a roughing the passer call.
Yeah,
In the same play, they called pass interference, and the pass interference was
yeah, you're right.
a big. They literally declined
They
roughing
declined
the
it,
quarterback because you got more for what was a slight grab
Yeah.
on a.
Yeah, there were some
like-
pretty bad calls in that one too. Like
The phantom
yeah,
call
oh my
against
God.
Brady.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, it's a hit the face mask.
Yeah.
They're too obsessed with like if you come anywhere near the head or neck, we're just calling it. It's like,
yeah.
come on,
Well, he might have thought he saw
We've seen.
it. But
Well, yeah. There's during the Seahawks game.
the face mask.
Oh, yeah.
He sort of calls not a face mask.
It wasn't a face mask.
The guy's got one hand on him. It's on
it's definitely
Wilson's face mask, and
No, it wasn't
Wilson's
face
going
mask.
down. Like, how else is he pulling him down if not by his face mask?
His shoulder.
Well,
His hand was on the
they
face
used to have
mask.
the- they used
His
to have the
left hand didn't get to
rule-
the shoulder till Wilson was halfway down.
They used to have the rule where it's like
Goddamn.
if it was a slight face mask, it was only a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, it became
And then-
too judgment.
Yeah, exactly.
They-
but they could still do. I mean, if they had something like that, still like that, maybe would be more of that kind of thing. But
They have
even,
that with the kicking now.
Yeah.
On the punt and
Oh,
the
yeah,
kicker.
for sure.
If you hit their plant leg,
it's
it's
running
15.
into the
If you
kicker
hit
and
the
roughing the
regular-
kicker is
yeah.
So yeah, same kind of thing. Like it seems like you could have 2 different options because like sometimes it's like, did he really get the face mask? Not
Yeah.
necessarily. Like he kind of did, but
The only call
Grasping it or
the only
grazing
one
it.
comparable that I can remember in sports was actually a baseball game with the Red Sox, where the first baseman's foot was actually like a foot off the bag. He had stretched out too far and like slid away from the bag. It was like a foot at least away from the bag, and he caught the ball and the ref called him out. And it was before the challenges. And the
Oh.
whole replay is like the ref was just at a bad angle to where
Yeah.
from him he was watching the ball and whether it got there.
Yeah.
and his foot.
I mean,
And then every other replay angle, you're looking at it, and like the guy's not even close to the
It is
base.
part
and
of
you're like,
sports in a
what
way.
the shit?
it is part of
I think that
sports,
was
the
what
human
sparked
error,
getting
but
Yeah.
the replays.
yeah,
But I mean, should it be like in baseball?
I don't know that
they
it's-
can have machines tell us if it's a strike or ball.
it's true.
Do we really need a guy to stand back there?
It's tough. I don't know. I mean, you don't want it to be wrong for sure, but
Yeah. So why is it? It was
I
part
don't
of
know.
sports because
it's
it
just
had
been
to be.
has. Yeah, I know.
It was a part of
it's-
sports because.
But there's always those purists.
There was no
out there.
alternative. All we had was people
Yeah.
to watch and do their best. Great. Now we all can literally do a better job from our couch. And they have
Sure.
guys in the one thing that bugs me is
That
like,
is bug. Yeah,
because they could have the refs. Well, it's not a reviewable play, so they couldn't. But technically, there's guys who sit in the booths just watch on cameras, who I feel like if it's a playoffs, you have to be like, stop.
yeah.
That was you guys like
You missed
not
that
disputable.
one. You missed
not-
that one.
It's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
a judgment.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. That's totally
And
true.
technically, I saw a thing the commissioner has.
You're right.
the
I saw
Why
fine.
that
can't
too.
they should just call Mike Pereira instead of the booth?
They, the booth was calling him, and I was like, "Why are you calling him? We don't need to ask him. We
Yeah,
see it.
yeah.
The ball is not in the frame yet. The guy's being tackled. Like, it's just bad. But so now we got. It's got to be the biggest, obviously, quarterback disparity in Super Bowl history.
Oh yeah, and coaches for sure. Like
Oh, yeah.
32-year-old against like a 70. Or whatever.
So McVay will turn 33.
That's
Is
So
so
would you say
crazy.
24th or something?
But who's the more handsome duo? You've got the rugged age of Tom Brady,
Oh,
but
man.
he's canceled out. But
Brady's
Belichick.
definitely more
You-
handsome than.
You've got the
Goff.
childish good looks
Yeah.
of Sean McVay.
Have you seen the picture of Goff dressed up as what's the comedian's name from Malibu's Most Wanted?
Jimmy Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy. He dressed up as Jamie Kennedy from Malibu's Most Wanted, and someone just posted like, "This guy is in the Super Bowl,"
Yeah.
and he's got the stupid sweatbands and bright like green outfits and pink. He's holding his pinky up with a pinky ring on.
That's a pretty good shout out.
But McVay is definitely. I don't know. It depends on your preference. You like the old
Like-
old. I mean, literally, Belichick is over twice McVay's
Oh yeah,
age.
for sure.
They showed it. It's like 33 years
Just-
and some number of months.
Yeah,
And McVay's not 33 yet.
yeah, that's crazy.
But they're two of the smartest coaches.
Yeah,
And from everything I've read about McVay, part of what makes him so smart is that he delegates and he listens to the people that he gives the job of reviewing stuff. That's why they get so many plays from like college. He has guys who just watch college video
yeah,
and like this play could work in the NFL. Like
Yeah.
this play could work with our talent and our package. And to do that at 33,
yeah.
people, it's super
There's-
impressive.
Basically, they've been talking about it like on the sports radio and talking about like if you know McVay at all, then you could get a head coaching job in the league because
Sean
like
McVay's.
everybody's everybody wants to go towards
I
the
saw a good
young
joke about
offensive
that,
player. Yeah,
where they were like,
offensive coach.
hey, I just want to know one thing. Is that ref now friends with McVay? Because if so, he's got a job. If not, never mind.
Yeah. So he's the hot thing right now for sure.
Well, it's going to be interesting next year because, 3 different guys who got head coaching jobs have direct connections to McVay.
And I think
which is
McVay-
funny because none of them, only one was like his assistant coach, which is the quarterback's coach, is it?
Yeah, I think he's going to the Bengals, right?
Got a job, right?
Eventually, once
One of
they're
the coaches from the Redskins from when McVay was there.
done.
The
Okay.
other young dude got a job.
Oh, and the guy for the Tennessee, the offensive coordinator for Tennessee, he was with McVay
Yeah,
before
yeah.
that.
So those
Is
are
that the one?
3. So it'll be, and
Yeah.
they're all super young too.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if everyone's jumping on the young quarterback bandwagon after McVay did good. Who is it in the 49ers coach? I forget. It's another
Who's-
coach's brother,
He's not
right, or something like that.
Uh,
Shit, but he was a young coach.
Schottenheimer, no?
No, that's
Oh,
the Seahawks
that's the-
offensive coordinator.
Shanahan?
Shanahan.
Yeah. Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
That's what I was
but
like.
then
There's another Shanahan.
Yeah.
And they both have done really well. Shanahan hasn't had the situation. I love the other two. The people are like, what's his face coach this Niners team or this Rams team 2 years ago?
Oh,
Jeff
yeah.
Fisher?
Jeff Fisher, like, yeah, Jeff Fisher coached this Rams team 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Guys, but all the additions they made.
Oh yeah, they
This
did
year.
a ton of
Le'Veon
trades
Bell
and
commented
everything.
on a post. Someone posted about all the additions they made by trade, by signing guys, and Le'Veon Bell just commented like, "Yeah, that's what you do. You try to win.
Yeah.
Like you don't waste an opportunity to try and win."
Yeah. Speaking of the age despair, the despair is the Carroll compared to all the other coaches in the NFC West now. Like they're all like half his age.
Well, you
or-
forget Carroll's older than Belichick.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
the oldest coach in the
yeah,
NFL.
it's crazy.
He's so much more lively and energetic
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you
he
forget.
is, for
Like,
sure.
I definitely would guess he's like 5 years younger than Belichick.
Yeah.
He's just super white hair.
Yeah, he is. He's very young in heart, I think. Chewing gum always.
NFC West should be fun next year. The NFC East should be fun next year. Although, Wentz or Foles, what do you do? Go with the guy who
Wentz.
seems to fit the system better, or go with the more upside quarterback who, if you can figure out the right system, is probably better.
I go for Wentz, but
I seen a report earlier that said Wentz is a selfish quarterback who plays like obvious favorites and nobody really likes him in the locker room.
Well, he definitely favored Ertz all year until he got hurt.
Worked out for me.
He had Ertz on pace to have the most catches of all time by anybody.
oh yeah,
It reminded me of when I lived with Mary and her son Miles was 6 and he would throw to Graham 18 times a game. When we would play Madden,
That's
I was
the way to
like,
do
you
it.
got to mix it up. So he throw to Baldwin. But that's crazy. And then the other thing I saw this offseason that I really like is they showed the sacks attributed to quarterbacks. Every single one is considered a mobile quarterback, and Wentz was on that list of guys who they get in their head that they can buy time and throw
and
deep and make it. They want a
it's hard
touchdown
for
every
the-
time.
it's usually hard for the offensive lineman to know where he's going.
Well, yeah,
where
'cause
he's
as soon
gonna-
as you
that's what
escape
happens
the
with Russell
pocket-
Wilson all the time. Is he gets out maybe earlier than he should, and a lot of times then the offensive lineman either he holds or he can't get to the guy anymore because he's changed direction.
Well, yeah, because what happens is when you're blocking, I know they're not supposed to hold, but they don't get called for it as long as they're holding between
Yep.
the shoulders. So you're blocking a guy in front of you. You're holding his jersey between his shoulders. The guy you're blocking for is behind you. So if all
Yeah.
of a sudden he's not behind you and the other guy tries to change direction,
You're
you're
stuck.
still holding
Yeah,
the jersey.
exactly.
And now
You
that
either got to
guy,
pull him down or you're gonna.
you pull him down
let
and
him
he pulls
go.
the other way, and we can
Yep.
all see his jersey pull away from his.
Yep. And probably gets up going like this. Like,
Lamar Jackson got on that list, even though he only started for like half the year, and he was like 5th most in sacks attributed to quarterbacks.
oh yeah.
But
Oh,
the
yeah.
problem with that is,
well, he was running like
well, yeah, how many of those sacks were really running plays
just
that
running.
he got
yeah,
stopped
you're
short?
right. That's true.
Who
That's true.
knows? But yeah, the mobile quarterback. It's interesting when none of the mobile quarterbacks went far.
Yeah.
None of the 5 highest paid quarterbacks made the playoffs.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
Teams have got to be figuring out this whole, like, maybe the quarterback isn't that important if you have good talent and good coaching around them.
Does
Yeah.
that scare you though?
Does it scare me?
Your team doesn't like to pay people.
We do like to pay people. What are you talking
They
about?
pay people
No,
before
don't
they
wanna pay
turn
Russell
30.
all that money.
They will. I guarantee it.
They pay him like
I don't
20
know.
mil.
I mean, I wouldn't say that he's not worth it. I just they're gonna have to maneuver things around. a
Mahomes
little
is
bit
about to
different.
make $200 million.
In 2 years, yeah.
That's what they said.
What I'll say is this. When the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, we had the highest paid offensive line in football.
Yeah, it's.
And if you want to run the ball and use play action,
I think
good
it's
offensive line helps.
it's offensive line and defensive line is like the most important things because you need to pass. You
Was
need
it
to be able to rush the passer.
2 years ago when the Cowboys won 12 games,
Yeah, but,
Prescott, they had the best offensive line in
Yeah,
football.
for sure.
but they had a shitty D line.
Yeah, but they won a bunch of games because they had a good offensive line.
Yeah. Well,
So
I mean, they're going to pay him. It's almost guaranteed at this point to me. But
I think the Seahawks have a good
Didn't pay
core.
anybody
We
else.
have guys that
Yeah,
are
they do.
paid. Wagner, Wilson, KJ Wright's going to have to get paid.
maybe.
Earl Thomas, we're going to save money because we're going to let him walk.
He's gonna walk onto the Cowboys, and we're gonna win a
I don't
title
know.
with him.
Everything I've heard says he's not. He may go to San Francisco.
Everybody
Join
wants
with
to be in San
Sherman,
huh?
Francisco. And
Yeah, join with
AB
Sherman.
wants to be in San Francisco.
Who
apparently.
wouldn't
Yeah.
want to live there?
Why would you want to live there? It's so fucking expensive.
It is really.
Yeah, but
expensive.
they're super rich. I
Yeah,
don't think
but
that goes into their decision
That's
making of
more
where
of
they
a.
live.
It's more of a chunk. That's what's coming out of it.
Well,
just to-
and even then, even if you, I mean, yeah, I've had friends that live down there that make real good money, but it didn't matter because they couldn't afford to live there anyway.
Yeah, but these guys are making millions of
Yeah, I
dollars.
know
Like,
they're
they
making
they can pay
real
100
real good money.
They're willing to pay $100,000 a year on their housing
Yeah, it's true.
to live in San Francisco.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
but to buy a house in the ghetto, it's like 15 mil.
I don't think a lot of them
I
buy
don't know about
houses.
that much.
I think a
No,
lot
no,
of them
it really
rent.
is. I seen an ad yesterday.
Yeah, my buddy bought a house down there for like $350. It was like a 4-bedroom house, but he fixed it up, sold it like for $700 the next
Well, I
year.
was saying they never stay in them long.
They-
They buy them.
No,
Like LeBron, the reason he's buying houses in LA was
Anything
so
under-
that will be permanent after retirement.
Under 120,000 a year is poverty.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, those guys are making more than $120,000 a
true.
year.
Yeah, no, I'm
Sure.
just saying.
So
But
they'll-
even, but
they'll-
yeah, there's high-paying jobs down there that struggle for sure.
That's crazy.
You have to live 60 miles away. In fact, like we have some friends in LA that like he works for SpaceX. Like he makes really good money, but they had to move 2 hours away, so he has to commute 2 hours each way every day because that's all they could afford still. Even with it's like
Become a
Crazy.
computer programmer. Work from
Yeah.
home.
it's
And
true.
Jalen Rose said he would always have 2 places everywhere: one by the practice facility, one by the actual field.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Back in the
It's a good
day, he could afford it.
Well, he played in Indiana and like fucking Toronto.
Yeah, real estate in Indiana. is
I
probably-
hear Toronto, though, man. One of the most underrated cities in the
That's
world.
what I've heard too. I've heard good things. Maybe someday I'll go there.
Big fans of Canada.
Yeah, I know you are.
I like Vancouver.
Yeah, Vancouver's cool too. Canada in general is actually really cool. I would consider living in Canada.
So, Ricky, you're rooting for the Rams in the Super Bowl? Ooh.
He's struggling.
I don't know. It's still fun.
I mean, the GOAT's he's got 5. So even if he loses, he's 5 of 9. Also, keep that in mind. This is his 17th year in the NFL, 9th Super Bowl appearance.
It's so ridiculous.
He literally goes to Super Bowl
Even
more
they-
than every other year.
I saw a thing.
He's
where
like a
the NFC
successful
for the
LeBron.
AFC Championship. The AFC Championship, like his percentage of being there is higher than most coaches' winning percentages for
Oh, and
their
he-
entire careers.
He
Like,
also has more Super Bowl appearances than road playoff games. Because they're not only always in the playoffs, they always have home
Yeah.
field advantage. This
Yeah.
was only his 6th road playoff game
This is his
yesterday
ninth Super Bowl appearance, one more above the Steelers and the Cowboys for the most all time.
speaking of
by
which,
himself.
Yeah.
a few podcasts ago, you and Hoop said that that's the worst division. The Seahawks were in the worst division. In
They
football.
are in the worst division.
No, the Patriots division has been the worst for years. That's
Yeah,
why they
they
win.
get-
They cruise to the playoffs every year.
Their biggest competition in that
That's what I said last time.
their
Actually.
biggest competition in that division was Mark Sanchez-led Jets teams.
We made it to the AFC title game.
Exactly, but they were Mark Sanchez-led Jets teams.
Yeah, they have not had competition in years.
Dolphins,
in their
Jets.
division.
Who's the other one? Bills? No.
Yeah, Bills.
Oh yeah, Bills.
Yeah.
Dolphins, Jets, and Bills.
Yeah,
It's really
Well,
bad.
of course I know this.
None of those teams have been good since Dan Marino retired.
Yeah, but the Rams have been good for 2 years.
No,
Cardinals
our
kind of
division-
had a good run.
it
but
was-
it was with
We're the
Carson
only
Palmer.
division to have had all of our teams in the Super Bowl, at least.
Oh, really?
Since the reshuffle or whatever.
So that's
Yeah.
the thing is, there's always been
Wait,
in our division.
That's
There's
what they said.
always two teams that are good.
because Philly made it last year.
Oh, but has Washington been in them?
Yeah, they've won a couple titles.
No,
Yeah,
not
they-
since the reshuffle though.
Since the last
That's
one.
what they were saying. This
Ah.
is since the shuffle
Okay.
when they
But
moved to the NFC.
yeah, our division just mostly since 2000, there's been at least two teams that are good at the same time. You know, one might only be like a 9 or 10 win team, but they're still like at least
Yeah.
fighting for the playoffs, and
Well,
another
and-
team is in the playoffs for
And
sure.
those, in the heyday years, the 49ers and the Seahawks, those two were like
Powerhouse.
probably the two best. In
Yeah,
the
we had a
league.
good 3-year stretch
Yeah.
where it was. I mean, right as Wilson was emerging,
Yeah.
and Kaepernick was getting kicked out of the league.
How much you bringing
And
in?
the Cardinals had their 2-year run with Warner that was good.
Yeah,
Now the Rams. And the Rams were never bad under Fisher. They were just never, ever
Yeah.
took a step forward. They were literally
I'd like to
8
see
and 8.
Fitzgerald go somewhere where he could win, but I don't
It's-
know.
it's
He might
terrible.
It's
retire.
terrible, but
It's tragic.
should I be rooting for him to convince Brady to play one more year and go play in New England? If you had
I would hate
Edelman-
that, but I would
Edelman
still.
and
but
Fitzgerald on the slot.
Fitzgerald's
on opposite
hard. Not
sides.
he's the hardest guy not to like. Doesn't matter.
I call him Larry fucking Fitzgerald because every time he
he's-
plays the Seahawks, he
Yeah.
As long as
catches
he's
it
not
every
on the Packers.
He's a beast. Yeah,
That's the only team I couldn't root for.
I don't know if I'd rather him go to the Packers or the Patriots, but it'd be tough.
I'm already dreading the 2 weeks of Super Bowl talk, though.
No, me
I
too.
just want the game to happen. I don't want to hear about how smart McVay is. I don't want to hear the stats over and over about how many games and playoff games and records that Belichick and Brady have. Like, we know it all. And none of the stories are going to be new.
No.
No
gonna
one
be-
else is gonna-
My mom was already complaining last night over the nightly news because they were talking about the Patriots.
Yeah.
Like, day one.
Yeah. It's disappointing a little bit,
But we got to figure out where we're watching the Super Bowl and whether we just live stream it.
You gonna watch Super Bowl?
of course, I always watch the Super Bowl. It's one game you can't miss for sure.
Maybe my parents will go somewhere and I can have a party at their house. I don't know how that works. Hook could have a Super Bowl party. Let's have one at his house. We don't need to tell
Just
him.
sign him up.
We'll just show up.
Hey Kyle, party's here.
Don't even tell him. in
he
fact.
got a
Just
nice
pass
new
out some
TV.
notices.
We'll start a Facebook event, a private Facebook event, and don't invite him. Corey still won't be back. When's that guy supposed to be back? He said a few months.
Damn it, I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't give me like an exact date. Probably not allowed to, but otherwise, yeah, we need a name for your podcast so you can start promoting it.
I know. I'm getting closer. I feel like I just gotta.
Nice.
It's tough because so many people have used names, but I'm gonna definitely look into like using a name even if it's been used. If
anyone
not
has
been
any
active.
ideas, go ahead and comment on our Instagram page,
For sure.
or find Jared Johnson on
So you're
Facebook.
just telling-
Yeah.
That's not hard.
Talking about your life story
So-
and
Kind of
overcoming.
struggle and like how you overcame your struggles, and
How everyone's life story is
Yeah.
more exciting than they think.
it's probably that's true too, for sure. And just like, all struggle and suffering is very similar. Like, it doesn't matter what. I mean, I don't know. We all have our own struggles, and we all and even if you voted for Trump or you whatever, it's like we're all the same in a lot of ways. That's the idea. That's kind of the point to me. We're all the same in.
I don't have any similarities with Trump supporters. No, I'm sorry. I know plenty.
I know
I
that.
know a lot of people that support Trump, and I think they more support some of the things he wants to do. I don't really hear people actually defending Trump as a person.
Yeah, you're right.
Problem is, there's some people that don't really care. I mean, a problem. Other people don't care. It's kind of with athletes. Ricky supports plenty of athletes who have domestic violence, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
convictions.
Unfortunately.
Like he separates the athlete from the man
yeah.
or woman.
Did you guys happen to see the Bill Maher with Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah.
It was pretty hilarious.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It was, and they really got on. They kind of probably made him pretty uncomfortable. He said he didn't vote in the last election at all.
Lynch didn't. Or
Yeah,
Maher?
he didn't.
Lynch.
No, Lynch didn't, and so the whole panel that usually has a panel, and they were all like, hey, you need to vote if you want to help this world, and like
The tough
things
part
like
is
that.
over here on the West Coast, where pretty much everyone votes Democrat,
doesn't-
or
yeah.
in general, like it wins every time.
that's why I think
you feel like it doesn't matter.
there's a
'cause
big
you're
part of me that believes that the popular vote should be the answer. Then like, do
or
away
obviously
with
we need to reshuffle.
because I feel like that is an old system. It's like, and if you did do popular vote, every vote counts. Then like the people in Eastern Washington that always want to vote Republican, and they hate the West Side for the most part. It feels like they always want to separate from us. They would have their
I hate all
vote
of them. I
actually
don't
count.
There's no one on the other side of the Cascade Mountains that I like. I'm talking about the United States, not Washington. No.
Yeah, but it's like, so like, I don't know. There's just needs to be, we just need to reshuffle, I think.
There's going to be a lot of change going on in the next decade. It's going to be crazy.
That's the hope.
We're going to have 45 presidential candidates from the Democratic side.
I saw that. Yeah.
The friggin' primary is going to be ridiculous.
It is.
Every Democrat's like, I want to run. I want to fucking take Trump down. But we'll see. It'll be fun. If you want to call it that.
Yeah. Call our livelihood.
We like to try and talk religion and politics on this podcast as much as possible. Anything that you shouldn't talk about at dinner, no. We rarely do. I shouldn't even start. Every once in a while I post something on Facebook and it just goes poorly. But that's
part of the problem is that everybody's scared to talk about it, and because there's fights.
Well, they just twist your words around.
Yeah.
It's like your argument might not even be against what, like Trump. Like I made a post on a person's thing about how I literally said, because the Ocasio-Cortez lady, she had said like, it's okay to lie if you're on the side of morality. And I was like, well, isn't this what Trump does and what every other politician does? They lie to make their side seem better, to support their side. And then I got a whole argument about Trump and he doesn't lie. And I was like, one thing, you're not even like, yes, this was a lie.
There's been
no president
so
told Trump that they want a wall. Like no president told, because you asked me for an example. I was like, look, Trump just recently said that past presidents have told him that they support his wall and want a wall. And every living president, the only ones who could have told him this, all said that he did not.
Yeah.
So that was a lie. And then it was like, well, what he meant was past presidents have been in support of border security and fences and walls. I'm like, well, that's not what he said. Like, it is a lie to say someone told you something when they didn't.
People don't do the research
and it made his argument seem stronger.
Yeah,
that was
exactly
the
what
point.
happens.
It wasn't even. I wasn't bashing
even did you
Trump.
See that there was like a one of the speakers, Sarah, I forget her name, Sarah something.
Palin.
No, the speaker, the one that like is his media speaker.
His speaker. The chick who. Yes.
Yeah, she was on one of the morning shows. No, and she was saying like, over 4,000 terrorists come in. We've caught over 4,000 terrorists coming in through the southern border, and the guy just stopped her right there, and he's like, yeah, I knew you were going to throw out that stat, and to be honest with you, like, it's been proven that most of those people come in through airports. Like, most of those people have been caught in
there's
the airports.
There's zero evidence of that.
Yeah, and so like she's like, well, no, I mean the majority of maybe, and like they're like.
The funny thing is there is a very good ways and arguments for the wall.
Yeah.
Trump just doesn't use them.
No, he doesn't.
He said that right now we catch more people trying to enter the country illegally than ever in the history of the world, of the United States, which they just brought up the stats and it's not true.
Yeah.
The most was when George W. Bush was president. Oh. And guess what George W. Bush did to cut that down? He put up fences.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. He didn't put up billion-dollar walls, but he put up fences that didn't require a massive vote to get it approved because it didn't cost a ton. But he put them in strategic places in Texas where they were being found to be coming through. Yeah. And it slowly cut way down.
I mean, it doesn't. They're not going to stop them. It's going to slow them down, if anything.
Well, yeah, but fences did work.
Yeah.
So guess what, Trump? Why aren't you promoting that? George W. Bush put up fences.
Well,
Obama put up fences.
Part of it is just
I want to take it a step further. And
ego,
put up
because he said he would bring a wall, and so he can't back down off of that now because that's just not his.
Then it turns out his whole catching the most people turned out to be we're catching the least because there's less.
Yeah, and then shutting down the government in general is.
My biggest thing with that is like, look, no, not every government official voted for that. Enough voted for it to get it passed. And you're shutting it down because you didn't get one thing.
Yeah, I know. You're right. No,
that it was a major platform point.
It's costing money in the nation. It's not like lots and lots of money
not
costing
paid.
people. Yeah,
Mr. I want to bring jobs to America.
Yeah,
laid
exactly.
off.
The most loyal Americans, the ones that work for the government.
Yeah,
there was somebody saying that you could, if you're going on an airline, you can give them a $20 or less tip. You're allowed to, but it has to be non-cash, so you have to give them a gift card or something. But so if you're going to the airport,
I see. I thought you were going to say like get the security without.
No, the security can take can take.
So we're
a
allowed
20
to. Okay, they're allowed
So
to
if you wanna
accept
help
tips, non-cash tips.
Yeah, non-cash up to $20.
We just want.
Lots of Starbucks.
We just want people back to work. Trump. But Trump's not the only problem.
No, it's definitely politics.
He's not
in
the
general.
first
it's
one
money and politics.
to do this stuff. He's just more blunt about it and just a bad person in general.
Yeah. He is.
Like there's someone was saying like, hey, Trump in his things he said about white supremacists stuff. He's never said he's a white supremacist. Like you don't go around yelling you're white supremacist to be a white supremacist.
Hey guys,
and it's like if I said I'm an NFL player, that doesn't make it true.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I said it. No, but no, I still love all the people I know that voted for Trump. Sadly.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Some of the best people I know. And honestly, mostly I know that they just support one or two of the issues that he has been pushing hard for. Because that's really what you're supporting when you're supporting politicians. The problem is, with Trump, you're also supporting all the negative shit. And that's what I think most of the country hates.
Yeah.
And, honestly, I think we should have border security. We don't need people coming in illegally. But the people who are coming in trying to do it legally are getting put into prisons and separated from their children. Like, those are people who did it the right way.
For sure.
And they have to come into the United States to do it. We don't have places in Mexico they can come.
Yeah. That was the biggest problem with
That I think is the biggest thing that could help us is let's put up outposts in Mexico.
Yeah.
Let's spend the money on that where they can come in and start the process and, live in Mexico while they're finding out if they can come into the United States for asylum.
For sure.
All the problem is if they're running from people, guess
sure.
where those people are going to go to find them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But we don't have to bring them into the United States to put them in prisons while they wait to find out if they can live here.
It's not an easy thing to there's not just an easy answer, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
Never is. None of the issues have an easy answer.
Right. It's true.
There is an easy answer to whether you should allow kids from your Catholic school to mock Indians.
Yeah.
Just you're an adult. Even if you agree with what they're doing, just be smart and be like, guys, we're going to look really bad.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't do that.
Especially while wearing Make America Great hats and things like, hey, we're actually in a way representing Trump and all Trump supporters now by wearing this stuff. Let's just be smart and stand back.
There's been a lot of talk that the natives.
Did you watch the video?
I watched part of it. Or I watched whatever ones showed. I mean, there's
so I watched
not the whole thing. I don't know what.
I read an article and watched the video. So those kids were already because they were protesting women's abortion stuff.
Oh, okay.
A bunch of black men who these kids' one of their moms called Black Muslim.
I saw that.
They were standing across the courtyard or whatever, chanting Bible verses at them.
Okay.
So is it Lewis? Is that the Indian's last name? I think he's a Vietnam veteran.
Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah.
Him and a few other indigenous people who were on an indigenous people's march. There's just too much shit going on in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
He marched in between the two groups.
Okay.
And he stopped about 10, 15 feet from the group of white kids and just was singing and doing his thing.
I saw that part. This is probably where I saw it.
The kid walked up and stood a foot from him.
Yeah, he was.
And then all the kids...
And the smirk and like all that, you could tell he was being a total
And all
jackass.
the rest of the kids started yelling, build that wall, and mocking them. So, yes, he inserted himself in a situation to get between two groups that were just yelling hatred at each other.
Yeah.
Well, one's yelling hatred, one's yelling Bible verses. Honestly, I don't want either. Leave.
That's a form of hatred.
Well, and if you're fighting for rights, and it's separation of church and state. I don't think we shouldn't be using church to decide things if it's a separated church. But either way, that's just my preference. Either way, he put himself between the two groups, but then they got in his face.
Yeah.
And that video makes it very clear.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
And I love that the woman defended her son by saying black Muslims were yelling Bible verses. Oh, that sounds terrible, lady. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It's a big thing right now for sure.
On that, maybe a good time to wrap.
Yeah, for sure.
I think last time you were on, we started talking. I started talking about domestic violence, and now we got into politics at the end of this one. All right, that's all right. I'm fine with it. If people want to come and talk about it.
They should talk about it. It should be like a show thing. You'd be like, okay,
I
now this is politic time.
I get described as argumentative
with nothing.
But that's because my mom just thinks if you don't agree on something, you shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
With someone you know who disagrees with you.
That's how we got to where
and my
we're at.
stepdad disagrees immediately. Like he's like, you have to talk about this stuff. Like we should talk about it.
So you find common ground and compromise.
Yeah, that's how.
Problem is, I bring up the other side, even if I don't agree with it. I feel like both sides should get to be said. And then when people get mad at me and come back, I'm the argumentative one somehow.
Yeah.
Like, look, I brought up the other side. You can agree, disagree. We can end the conversation right here.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do just troll people just to get a rise out of them. Well, let's be completely honest. And with that, we'll call this one good. Look for us on Fair with Friends on Instagram, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Podbean. We're like everywhere now.
Yeah.
Yet people still don't download, but
I think I got
Eventually.
you on Pocket Casts.
Pocket
nice.
Casts? I've never
Yeah.
heard of that one. Cool. I know there was a few. My friend
Most of
Jay
them-
had a couple
Most
that
of them,
didn't
like,
come
they
up.
pull their catalogs from iTunes anyways.
Yeah.
So once you're on iTunes, they just pull them all up anyways. So
Hopefully that's the case now, because I know when Jay tried to look us up is before we went on iTunes, and the
Yeah.
2 podcast programs he had, it didn't show up. So hopefully
Cool.
we're everywhere now,
Booyah.
and hopefully people at least share or subscribe, because honestly, subscriptions are all that matters. Turn your TV onto the right channel. That's all anyone cares about. No one cares if you watch or listen. Advertisers just want those numbers, and we just want to feel good about ourselves.
Yep.
But thank you for coming on again, Jared.
yeah, thanks for having me.
Won't be the last time. Hopefully,
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
that you're
Well-
ready on that podcast soon.
Yeah, we'll get it going. We'll get it going, and then we gotta get this network going. I think.
Yeah, the network.
Yeah.
I love it. 'Cause I actually have,
Dun, dun, dun,
because I
dun,
bought the
dun, dun,
podcast studio,
dun, dun, dun.
we have another mixer. This isn't the one. This is
Nice.
Matt's.
Yeah.
So
I
I can
remember
record
him
completely
saying that.
separate. I just need to buy this other thing that it connects to go into your laptop, and then me and Ricky can have 2 separate studios.
Nice.
But I mean, we could each do our own podcast without each other and some together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Sounds
need
good.
we need to look at that digital recorder thing, but
Yeah.
we need money for that.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds
We got
good.
other
I got a
products
couple
first.
things I can show you guys. We don't
Nice.
have to do it on air, but
No, that's good, because we just randomly YouTube stuff when we need to figure it out. All right. Well, thanks for listening and being here, and that's
Yeah.
that.
later.
Peace.